Look at the floor of a modern manufacturing hub. Humans and robotics pass components back and forth with zero waste. This level of choreography is a historical outlier. A century ago, industrial shops were dense and stations were unregulated. Craftsmen followed their own techniques, which lacked the standardization required to build a global economy. To reach massive scale, early industrial leaders stopped treating their companies like groups of individual people. They began treating the organization as a literal machine. Every worker became a specialized part, governed by predictable physical laws. To see how companies actually operate today, we have to look at the original blueprints, specifically the designs drafted by 3 historical architects who engineered the components of the modern corporation. We might see casual Fridays and corporate wellness retreats, but the underlying logic remains. Navigating the modern workplace requires seeing the century-old architecture behind it. Let's zoom down to the factory floor, the lowest level of the organization. If the company is a machine, the individual worker is the gear. In the late 1800s, an engineer named Frederick Winslow Taylor looked at those gears and saw an opportunity for optimization. He developed a framework called scientific management. Taylor measured work with a stopwatch. He took complex crafts, broke them down into tiny, repetitive subtasks, and calculated the one best way to complete each one. He operated on a concept known as the economic man. This assumes that humans are motivated primarily by money. Based on that logic, Taylor implemented piece rate pay, tying a worker's survival directly to their daily output. By removing personal craft and rewarding repetitive speed, Taylor isolated human labor. He engineered a workforce where any person could step into a slot and perform exactly like the gear they replaced. But thousands of optimized gears will jam if they aren't mounted to a rigid frame. Let's move to the management offices overlooking the floor. Around the same time, a French executive named Henri Fayol was tackling the problem of scale from the top down. He created administrative theory. If Taylor engineered the gears, Fayol designed the chassis. Fayol established the scalar chain, a strict vertical hierarchy enforcing unity of command, ensuring every employee reports to one supervisor. Communication flows downward. A board instructs management, management instructs supervisors, and supervisors instruct the floor. This structure locked the workforce into place. Without this chassis, the speed and volume generated by Taylor's optimized workers would have torn the organization apart. Elevate one last time to the boardroom, where the organization exists as an abstract legal entity. The final architectural plan came from Max Weber. He provided the operating system for the machine, bureaucracy. Weber sought to replace the instability of charismatic leadership with a concept called legal rational authority. He codified operations into standardized rules and procedures that were independent of any individual leader. This illustration of Weber's bureaucratic theory emphasizes a cold, impersonal environment. The model removes human emotion and favoritism from corporate governance. By relying on written procedures and defined job descriptions, the system ensures the office continues functioning even when a specific manager leaves. Bureaucracy replaces unpredictable human passion with administrative logic. It ensures the corporate machine becomes a self-sustaining entity that outlives its creators. There was one flaw in this architecture. The machine was mathematically perfect on paper, but it was constructed using unpredictable biological parts. This graphic contrasts the classical machine approach with the human relations approach. Research proved treating workers solely as economic entities causes distress that halts production. To keep the gears turning, organizations injected human elements back in. Emotional support became necessary maintenance. Which brings us back to the floor of the modern tech hub. Companies like Amazon utilize systems like lean management. They layer agile, team-based human relations over the strict, data-driven frameworks established by Taylor and Weber. A modern corporation might use the language of family or community in its branding, but underneath that language, the operating system remains a highly controlled, mathematically optimized machine.